That's breaking news for some people. That God would have anything to do with an election. But it's not breaking news for those who know the Bible. God's very clear in His Word about His involvement in selecting rulers. In Romans 13, verse 1, the passage we read just a few moments ago, Paul wrote, "Every person is to be in subjection to the governing authorities. For there is no authority except from God, and those which exist are established by God." Now that is a mind-blowing claim when you think about it. There is no government that exists today or that has ever existed that was not established by God. Remember when Paul wrote these words, who the ruler of the world was. A Roman emperor named Nero, the most wicked emperor in history, the one who used Christians as human torches, set them on fire while they were alive to illuminate his gardens. That was Nero. And yet, Paul says Nero would not be emperor if God had not allowed it. God establishes all authority. Daniel 2:21 says, "It is He who changes the times and epochs. He removes kings and establishes kings. He gives wisdom to wise men and knowledge to men of understanding." A number of years ago, I was flying with the former president, and I was talking about Romans 13, how God establishes all government. He said, "Robert, I've got a question for you. Do you think it was God's will for Barack Obama to be president of the United States?" Very perceptive question. I said, "Yes, sir, I do." Daniel 2 said God removes kings and He establishes kings. Remember, when we talk about God's will, it's a lot bigger than we like to imagine that it is. I mean, our late member, theologian, Dr. Charles Ryrie, used to say, whatever your definition of God's will is, it has to be big enough to include the rebellion of Lucifer in heaven against God, the fall of man into sin, the torture and excruciating death of God's own Son. And by the way, it's big enough to include whatever difficulty, problem you're facing in life right now. God's will is much bigger than we understand it to be, but it's a plan that is working for ultimate good. Not immediate good all the time, but ultimate good. God is the one who establishes leaders. Now, would it be a lot easier if God would just fill every vacancy in government with His selection and we didn't have to go through a political season? It'd be a lot easier if God did that. But He doesn't work that way. He chooses a more subtle way of working through human processes. For example, some countries are monarchies. The right to rule is inherited. Some countries are ruled by dynasties. A group of people amongst themselves choose who the next leader is going to be. But America was one of the first nations where citizens, the people, were allowed to select their own leaders. It was a novel concept. I want you to listen to the words of John Jay, the first Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court and the co-author of the Federalist Papers, also a devout Christian. Listen to this. He said, "Providence," that's how they referred to God, the choice of their leaders. And it is the duty as well as the privilege and interest of our Christian nation to select and prefer Christians for their rulers. John Jay said that October 12th, 1816. That would blow the mind of some on the left today. The claim that America was a Christian nation. But John Jay said it. The first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, America was created as a Christian nation. And not only that, because we are a Christian nation, we have not only the privilege and the right, we have a duty to prefer Christians as our leaders. He must have been a Christian nationalist. Hang him. Get rid of him. No, this nation was founded as a Christian nation. Well, we ought to prefer Christians as our rulers. Doesn't John Jay know about Article 6 of the Constitution, which says there should be no religious test? He was aware of that. That had happened 30 years earlier. The sixth article had been ratified. John Jay was aware of that, but there was no conflict. Government cannot...
Welcome to the Caribbean American News Media Show, your premier destination for in-depth coverage, engaging discussions, and entertaining segments showcasing the rich tapestry of Caribbean American culture. Join us as we explore a wide range of topics, from current events and community spotlights to arts, music, cuisine, and more. Our show features exclusive interviews with influencers, artists, community leaders, and everyday heroes who are making a difference in the Caribbean American community. Stay informed and inspired with our thought-provoking segments that highlight the diversity, resilience, and creativity within our community. Tune into the Caribbean American News Media Show for a captivating blend of news, entertainment, and storytelling that celebrates the Caribbean American experience. Get ready to discover new perspectives, celebrate successes, and connect with the heartbeat of the Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean American News Media Show for an immersive viewing experience like no other. Hashtag Caribbean American News, hashtag show, hashtag cultural celebration.
You are viewing Caribbean American News Media on YouTube and on Facebook. You can also find us on 360 Radio. Your host for tonight is Garfield Oliver. Let's get to work.
All right. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much, and greetings to all. Welcome to the platform. This is Caribbean American News Media, and we are live on the air. We are also broadcasting on channel 115, and that is Flow GVD TV there in St. Lucia. And we want to take the opportunity to welcome all our viewers from around the world. Those of you who are viewing via your smart television through our YouTube channel, or you're over there on the Facebook channel, or maybe you're locked in somewhere in St. Lucia in the Caribbean on channel 115, and that is the GVD TV channel. We greet all of you. We want to say a special good night to our friends over there in Dennery North and Dennery South. Those of you in Soufrière, Soisel, and also Vieux Fort, Canaries, Babonneau, Balata, Gros Islet, Cap Estate, Rodney Bay, Castries, Monchy, Monnier, wherever you are, you're checking in, we acknowledge you, and I say a special good evening to you, and again, welcome to Caribbean American News Media Platform. I am your host for tonight, as was stated earlier by our assistant. I am your host, Garfield Oliver, and I've been with you for a few years on this platform, bringing to you commentary and news and information, and sometimes a little laughter, but and also some spirituality in it. I want to thank you so much for being a part of the experience. All the way we have Polius, who's viewing over there in Connecticut. Greetings to you, and our friends in Grenada, the Eastern Caribbean, Guyana, Barbados. I can't call other countries, folks. It is far and wide reaching, and so we just want to say a special good evening again to all of you. How was your day, folks? hoping and wishing that you had yourselves a beautiful day. Beverly Johnson, greetings to you. And my sister, I need to mention my sister tonight, Sister Penny Hippolyte. Lorraine Hippolyte. She is my sister. She is, we are very close. I appreciate that woman and her husband, Mr. Hippolyte, and we continue to pray for the family. We continue to show some love. She is a Mamai Flabo, and I've never regret meeting her as a good woman and her husband. Blessings to you. Also, Dr. Fletcher, I want to say greetings to you, my mother, and also my brother from another mother, Jimmy Haynes. I am getting closer and closer drawn to Jimmy, not because of his accent and his great work, but he is a man who loves his country, I must say. No one can point a finger and say that Jimmy is a hack. It's impossible. You got to be the biggest sinner in the world to say that Jimmy Haynes is a hack. No, sir. This brother loves his country. He wants the best for his country. And so I acknowledge him tonight as one of my brother from another mother. And I continue to show him love as he's a professional at what he does. And, he is, I'm not talking about a perfect human being. I'm talking about Jimmy Haynes, a patriot, a true patriot. Yes, my friends. Flora, greetings. Quinn, how are you, Lauren? Greetings. So I spoke about my friend, Sister Penny, and her husband. These have been supporters, and she has been there through thick and thin, all right, praying and encouraging. And when I came down, I got my food in when I went to Guy Joseph's constituency. I got my bag with all my cooked food and my drinks, and she took care of me like a champion, and I felt powerful. Yes, man, I felt powerful, friends. Good cook up rice, man. Nice rice, scallops or rice type thing. It was a beautiful experience. Mary Shalmine, greetings to you. Share the live, folks. You got to share the live. I got to see the live on your platform. Share it everywhere. And look, another brother there, Ian Cauldron. Yes, another one who loves his country. Rosemary Sakafet. Yes, my friends. Elizabeth is always there. Yes, Heather. I'm just taking time to greet you as you share the platform. And let me go over, not neglecting my YouTube viewers, and I have my sister and brother, Sister Sylvina. Now I butcher people's name. RICO. I butcher people's name, but I love this family. They're a good family. They're sons and daughters of St. Lucia, and I owe them everything for their love. And I'm telling you, from the time we're on the air, I have never missed seeing Sister Sylvia on this platform. She's dedicated, she's committed, and she's just over there. And even though I don't call her when I should, because of my schedule and everything else, she shows her love. And I just want to say that to you, Martina, all of you over there, Gloriana, always locked in. Many of you are over there. I can't see you right now, but I'm just seeing those who are typing. And so I really appreciate your love. And so this is not a love fest, folks. Let's get down to work. There's a lot of work to be done. I can't be here calling everybody's name, but there's a whole set of people out there, Cleo and all the others who, are just, people that I appreciate. Yes. And if you did not hear it from me, you heard it personally tonight. You're special, folks. All those of you under this platform. I had reasons today to get a little angry with one of the viewers who, that person was what we would consider to be a hacker, uncontrolled hack, came onto the platform trying to insult and to call names and to belittle, and I didn't know where it was coming from. We were having a decent discussion. I do not engage in negative discussion. When I say negative, in nasty discussions, because I'm a Christian. I'm not any Christian. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. And I do not engage a certain way. And when I saw the nastiness and all the stuff, I had to block and delete and to just dismiss that individual. And what came to my mind, St. Lucians, is that this individual has children, grandchildren. And this is what our youth are being taught in the home. Intolerance, how to bully people, how to insult and disrespect individuals who have not mentioned your name, have not come down your alley, have not disrespected you. And it is sad for the country. Very sad indeed. But that's where we are. That's where we are, my fellow citizens. And if we do not elevate the discussion and we do not speak kind words a little more often than we do, instead of an F note or some negative tone, maybe we need to tone it down and just speak kindness a little more. And I've always warned individuals, righteousness exalts your nation. There are too many unrighteousness in the land. It comes out from the home. What you see in parliament is a reflection of the home. What you see in your communities is a reflection of your home. Every human being comes from a home. Every human being. And that environment can shape you for the good or for the bad. And I am seeing too much bad. All these young people on the streets, linemen, where are the fathers? Where are the mothers? Some of the fathers are somewhere talking garbage. Somewhere in the rum shop, somewhere in jail, somewhere. Where are the men? We have lost a lot of our men into jail, and now we are losing them in death. So we are constantly bleeding. We are constantly losing, and our mothers and fathers need to stand up in the home and instill discipline in their children. But how can you, of course, instill discipline in your children? You yourself is indisciplined. You have no manners, no brought-upsy. It's like you just drag up. Simple protocols. You see somebody walking on the street, you say, hi, good morning, how are you? Or you smile, you give a nod. Simple deeds of kindness. You open the door at the bank for an elderly. If you're sitting and an elderly comes in, you get up so that they can sit. Common decency has gone out the door. And now we have a generation of vagabonds. And we cannot be proud of that, friends. We got to speak about it. And we must encourage families to step up and be different. Make the difference. So when I saw all this nastiness from a grown woman with gray hair and glasses, which indicates that, well, not everybody with glasses is losing the vision. But it indicates that she's at an age where she needs to get some discipline. How can you be in discipline after you pass 50, 40, 50? A matter of fact, you leave 20, you're in discipline. 30, you ain't learn nothing. 40, you still ain't learn nothing in life. 50, you're worse. 60, all hell break loose. No manners. Who have bewitched us that we cannot see our way? We cannot love. We cannot speak kindly of someone we don't know or we don't like. And by the way, why you don't like the person, you don't even know. Maybe you don't even like yourself. But families, it is time for us to be different, to act different, and to respect people's opinion. If you don't agree with the person, it is okay to say you don't agree and tell them why you don't agree, but you can't tell them about their mother, their cousin, and you cuss them out and you do all your nastiness. No, that's not how it's going to happen. And it should not, again, be encouraged in our society. Okay, good. Now that I have gotten that off my chest, let's talk. Let's get into business. St. Lucians, you saw today record flooding all over the nation. From Bexo to the Dennery Valley, Grosley, Moshi, flooding in every community, basically. Well, I'm just exaggerating, of course, a play of words. Don't call a point of order on me. Like, buddy, I said what I said. But most of you would have encountered flooding in your community. Why are we still having all this flooding in our nation when we know that we are in a hurricane season? And their preparation that government need to make. Let's hold off on the citizens for a while. Let's talk about government. The people that you have elected. The people that you have elected to manage your affairs, to make sure that you don't drown on the highway, to ensure that your properties are protected from the rivers and the waterways. Why are we having all this flooding? That's my question tonight. Why? Why is Bexo flooding like it have never flooded before? Like flooding has gone out of style. Why? I'm going to show you something here that I came across earlier today. Let's go over to that clip. That's your waterway, St. Lucia. And by the way, this is not a waterway. This is a road. I want you to look at it. In 2024, millions of dollars after, looks like St. Lucians will have to start buying boats to have in their yard so that they can go to work. 2024. And I speak about it and they come after me and call me all sorts of names. I remember even with Guy Joseph, they would cuss him out because he's the first one on the scene. A matter of fact, all these drains and canals would have been desilt and unsilt and clean up before the hurricane season. Backhoes would have been at work. What is going on? Why do we have water running down our streets? And we believe that that is normal. That's normal for infrastructure in the country. Why? I wish one of the geniuses, one of the backyard engineers, of course, Engineer Papier, can tell me, who claim to know nothing about drains and canals. except for mandatory classes I had to take because of my biblical studies. I also had to look at the environment, psychology, and other studies. So I didn't do a mob bishop study. I don't have certificate on the walls here for nothing. As a matter of fact, I have a certificate here from the Maritime Security Services. I represented St. Lucia at that session a couple of years ago. I have the certificates there still, but let's not talk about certificates because we can become a little boasters, of course, and we don't want to be little boasters, ain't it? So let's go back to the substantial matter. That is of no consequence, what I just said there. So, somebody tell me, why do we have this type of flooding? And don't tell me it's a lot of rain and too much rain. Are you building your roads with canals? And if they are being built with canals on both sides, what is happening? What is going on? With all these cabals that we have in our village councils, walking around with wheelbarrows and shovels and the step programs that we just have. You just had step program. You're not supposed to have flooding in these areas. Don't tell me you cut the grass behind the grass and put the grass behind the grass. Well, of course, that will cause flooding once the grass is cut behind the grass and then put behind the grass. Then you have flooding. Sure. But I'm going to ask you the question, St. Lucians. Why? Why? Is it that we do not know what to do with our waterways? Is it that we don't have money? Can we not get Galaxy? Sign another agreement. You can backdate it. You can gazette it next year if you want. That's what you do best now. Sign an agreement with Galaxy. Tell them to go and clear all the drains. They have the money. Well, I don't know if you have the money. You say nothing to us. But can we please get our drains clean? Can we please ask Mr. Blue Fella to Mr. Blue Marlin to go and get our canals cleared so that we can protect the properties of the citizens of the country? Many of these people took loans to build their homes, and they're now at an age where no bank will give them anything to repair their property. Some of these properties have no insurance. There's no flooding insurance. There is no disaster insurance. There's nothing on these properties. Many of them, when the properties get damaged as a result of the government negligence, nothing happens. So who will protect the citizens from the government or their government? The churches will not do it. The pastors will stay in their pulpits. The priest will stay in his pulpit. Politicians will have a field day because nobody is speaking up. Because all believe that if you're a Christian, then you are to just take what you get because Jesus is coming tomorrow. But I found out that Jesus says that we should occupy till he come. In other words, he gave us the power to elect governments and to set up systems in this country or in the nation so that every citizen can live and survive down here until he comes. So don't tell me as a Christian that you are just sitting behind your Bible and let all the injustices go by and allow all the lost to go by. And we tell them Jesus is coming tomorrow. So they would forget about everything, the healthcare system, the roads condition. You will need no roads soon because Jesus is coming soon. In the meantime, they're clocking in for their retirement. So all I'm saying here, folks, is that God wants us to live as the head and not as a tail. Higher than the highest is his ideal for his children, his people. And therefore he sets kingdoms up and he takes them down. And therefore he permits the request of the people to be fulfilled for a leader. And when the righteous leaders lead, the people are glad. But when the wicked lead, the people are sad and afraid. Look at this in your country. Let's take a break, folks. We'll be right back.
At Palette Pleasure, located Ogier Vieux Fort, we take pride in our ability to cater to a wide range of events and occasions, whether it's a joyous celebration like a birthday, anniversary, wedding, or graduation, or a more somber gathering such as a funeral or First Communion. We are dedicated to providing exquisite culinary offerings to suit each unique event. Our diverse menu includes offerings such as funeral treat boxes and treat boxes for all other occasions, ensuring that we can provide comfort and support during difficult times, as well as enhance the festivities during happier moments. In addition, we offer prepackaged meals designed for all occasions, ensuring that the food at your event is not only delicious but also convenient. Call us today at 75873333365 for your finger-licking and palatable foods.
All right, and we are back, and folks, you are in tune to Caribbean American News Media Platform. We are live on GVD TV, channel 115 on Facebook and on our YouTube channel. I want to welcome you back. All right, so we were talking about the conditions of our waterways in the country, and people are losing their livelihoods. And it seems to me that your leaders have run out of ideas, or they're lazy, or they're focusing on the wrong things. Hurricane season, lots of rain. Drains should be taken care of. Canals and rivers. Now in Castries, I heard Buddy. Last year, it was a Sunday, a beautiful Sunday. Buddy had the folks to dig up because they were water blocking something. Water was flowing somewhere in Castries. And Buddy got his tractor and his folks and they dug up the road and they cut it up. And they found fridges and stoves and everything under there. And Buddy said, these are the reasons why the place is flooding and we will never flood again. And we will never experience. We clean it, we fix it, and blah, 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 blah. And by the way, it happened very quickly. And I'm not even sure How many engineers were on the scenes, professionals were on the scenes to do an assessment? What is the real issue? Is it the fridge, the stove? Do we need to reorganize Castries on a whole? Do we need a major billion-dollar approach to Castries waterway? Do we need new pumps or more pumps? Do we need to dig more canals around the city? Do we need to dig deeper? What is needed in order to manage the flooding, the constant flooding in Castries? Why are our leaders not going big and bold with developments in the nation? Why is tea boutique? Why is just move an old fridge and put a culvert? Why do we not look at an overall assessment of under Castries, what is happening there and what needs to be done in order to get rid of this water problem? And don't tell me that there is nothing we can do to avoid flooding in any part of St. Lucia. Don't tell me that. We are living in an age of technology and advancement. And if we are building for the future, I would suggest that we invest. And if we're going to sell passports and lawyers and businesses are making more money than the people, than the citizens of the country, I would say to you, you better review your policies of selling the people's patrimony. Let the people's patrimony develop the country. Let it impact the citizens, all citizens. So go bold with the waterway. Instead of having GPH take over port, get a massive company to take over a waterway, dig canals and help us to get rid of our... We would agree with that. Sell the waterways under Castries, sell the gutters, sell all the rivers and canals. Or lease them, so that we can get rid of this issue, flooding issue in the country. A little rain and Castries shut down. Vehicles are flooded. Shops, every time you have to move your box and put everything up high because you don't know what's going to happen. If you're in Dennery and you live by the bridge, you must expect water going to come up. Ek whole cow pack ay bon. How is that giving the citizens peace of mind? It is because, friends, we have a bunch of lazy politicians who have stuffed themselves enough that they are just incapable of even reasoning. Loka boy shy wom. Ekupa dormi bien. Ekupa boy shy coffee. Ekupa fime. Ekupa kui femme. Ekupa fe shy betis eko. Eku bitter. And you angry. Eku just fâché. Ou toujours fâché. Ou pas des pièces énergie pour faire rien by just in the sea. And that's why I warn you folks, when you are electing politicians, don't elect lazy politicians who you don't know. You have never seen them in your community walking the streets doing anything. All they do is drive in their fancy cars and they pass you straight. And elections, they want to run. Yes, run them if they want to run. Make them run faster. Run them out of your face. We need bold ideas. I want politicians that can, before elections, that can say to me as a citizen, how are we going to fix this water problem in this community? I want you to tell me how you're going to fix it. What's your plans? Because by now, all these politicians should be able, aspiring politicians should be able to look at the many issues in these communities and have some ideas in their head at least. I know you're not engineers, but you have an idea of the issues in each community in the country. And you should be able to say to the citizens of these communities that I understand the issues. Name the issues. Don't just tell them you understand it. Name the issues. I understand the flooding issue. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of street lights that is needed in certain areas. Name the areas. I know of the potholes and where they are. Name the roads. Let the people know that you know what they're going through. Don't come and bamboozle their mind. UWP, SLP, don't come and play with their minds. You understand their needs. Understand the amount of housing that is needed in each community. You aspire to be representatives. You know in your community, such as Denry, Lakai, Limay, and those areas, the homes that are needed in these communities. Not no tea boutique. Understand it. But without vision, the people perish. And I would add, without vision, the people drowned. Without vision, they get flooded out. Without vision, you need politicians with vision. And you cannot have vision when you're always drunk. You can't have vision when you're always buying out bars. Back in Bible days, those politicians, the leaders, the politicians, the kings, were restricted from drinking strong drinks, lest they make foolish decisions under the influence that impact the lives of many. When you go to the house, or you go to whatever you call it, cabinet in the morning, and you go there with hangover, ou passe même ouvert zio. Say coffee. You're rushing coffee down your throat so you can stay alive, you can stay awake. How can you make decisions on behalf of the people? No wonder you come in the house and you make all the amendments. All amendments, what? You didn't study the bill? You didn't know what you was doing in your discussion, deliberations? You didn't know? You just wake up one morning and end up in the house and start making a whole set of amendments and adjustments and wording. You didn't see it before? I'm not saying you can't see one or two errors. You can't have drunkards leading the land, hateful birds, bigotry, and racism that are enshrined in their boudin. How can you see straight? Anyway, let's go on. There's a young man that I want to share with you here. I want you to listen to him. He sounds a little fiery. I just came across the brother, and he looks like an aspiring politician. And I'm going to put him up so that you can see and listen to the brother and tell me what you think, okay? Hold a minute. He's talking, but ain't nothing going through. Go ahead.
And for the SLP supporters in Mikud North, I want you all to know the boat is sinking, and not on water but in quicksand. So while the flubber boat is still nearby, jump on board, because the time you will jump in the quicksand with SLP.
Oops. Sorry.
What?
Utansa, the ship is there in Miku. Jump on board, because you will sink in the quicksand with the SLP politicians there. I like that one, boy. You make my night I feel good. Let me drink some water in that. Mm-hmm. Yes, water is good for your system, folks. Last boy warm. Anyway, let's go back to the substantial matter. So the young man just dropped a time bomb and he moved on. I didn't even get time to really take it in. The man said that there's some quicksand somewhere in Miku. So, by advice to whoever is in Miku, be careful. There's a ship somewhere. Jump on the ship before it's too late. I love that one, folks. That one is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. And oh my God. Yes, my friends, that is the promotion for September 22nd. You know, the grand public meeting in the William Peter Boulevard. And, you know, folks, you are asked to, you know, attend, come out and give your support, stand with the United Workers' Party. All right, let's take another ad from them.
Après ma chère.
Sorry. Let's go back to my friend. Go ahead.
Bagay vini pli mauvais. La vie en cette ici, c'est qu'un bateau qui prie en sable. Il passe à sortir. Tellement crime. Chaque fois que je parle de crime, je me fait mal. Puis commission, oh papa, mettez la main. Ou ka attendre di moun ka pe di travail pour raison politique. Et puis pour raison, ou pas ka jamais savent. Ou ka attendre di parler corruption en gouvernement. Est-ce que nous n'y a moun ka conduit pays? Aussi madeko, côté nous ka aller en pays cette ici. Nous ni pour venir ensemble. Nous ni pour du bout ensemble. Nous ni pour aider ensemble pour sauver Saint-Lucie. Pas pour nous, mais pour les enfants qui ka venir et puis pour les enfants qui ka venir après eux. Nous méritons primaire. Nous sommes une nation qui a produit moun comme des RICO et puis ça a fallu. Et puis actuellement, nous ça bat l'estomac nous et puis dit nous ka chebe médaille là et puis d'argent olympique. Vini participer en mouvement pour sauver Saint-Lucie. Nous ka invité ou dimanche le 22 septembre en boulevard William Peter. Côté nous ka discuter affaires pays nous. Nous ka parler di bagay qui ka concerné ou. Nous ka parler di image et puis direction pays ni pour point. Nous ka parler di crime. Nous ka parler di corruption au gouvernement. Nous ka parler di scandale CIP. Nous ka parler di affaires pays. Nous ka parler di faiblesse lida pays. Et puis nous ka parler des affaires qui pays a ka vendre pour rien. Vini combler et puis membre United Workers Party. Côté yo ka présenter candidat neuf qui ka préparer chemin pour yo sa assise en gouvernement encore pour veiller mettre pays en bonne direction pour nous toutes. Nous ka ni entertainment local. Vini à Miseko. Restez écouté pour plus d'informations.
Mama descend pa we chanter bagay ka vini mauvais.
All right, folks, and we are back. Yes. This song, the Calypsonian just said bagay ka vini mauvais. For those of you who don't understand the Creole, is that things getting bad. But a lot of people tell you everything is going fine, and you know you can't blame them. A lot of people in the country, they are doing well. They are doing much better than they have done before, and there are a lot of people, folks. Let me tell you something. I got a lot of calls today, and very sad calls. A lot of calls today. And people are really, and most of those calls are people who are hurting, people who I'm not going to expose this person, but I got a call today of an individual who no food, is in a room with his kids, lost his job. He's applying for jobs. He's looking for jobs. He has a room. The room has no gas, no stove, nothing at all. He has children to feed. And I wish somebody could reach out to me and say, look, I want to help. He has 2 kids and it's a young man. He don't want to be begging. He just need a job. He just need to work. And when I hear people say to me, saying people hungry in the country, nobody's hungry. That's not true, folks. There are individuals who are going through a very hard time as we speak. Are you understanding what I'm saying, folks? I got a number of calls today. But that one call broke my heart because that young man needs help. He needs bailing out sometimes. And he put me on video calls to see the environment. And I saw it with my own eyes. This young man is broken. He's in tears. Lost his job. He's in a small room because he would have been on the streets with his children. And at the time he spoke to me, his children had not gotten anything to eat. So when I hear hacks come to me and tell me, and I get very passionate about these things, when I have hacks come and they tell me, oh, Philip Chippa is doing good for the country and nobody's hungry and blah, 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 and I say that's garbage. We are not good until all people are good. We are not eating unless all people are eating. We are not rising unless all people are rising out of poverty. So maybe you're up there already, but I'm saying that I am not declaring myself anywhere until all people can have the opportunities for a decent meal, for proper health care. People who are not victimized. And it breaks my heart, friends, to know in a small country where we boast of plentiful, that there are individuals, as I speak, who are going through depression and are crying. Men with their children are crying because they're hoping that somebody can bring a meal for them. Folks, if you want to help this young man, reach out to me at 347-623-9183. I will put you on to him. Those of you in the country, in St. Lucia, maybe you can get some food for him and his children. You can get a bag of groceries. You can do something to help him, at least so that the children can eat for the week. Please, friends, do something to help him. Reach out to me. I'm not going to expose him. Whatever you can do to help him. If we are true sons and daughters of the country, friends, we got to be there for each other. And I want to applaud, just to stray a bit from our discussion, I want to applaud the United Workers' Party supporters. You guys possess a heart that it just baffles me. Molly Mall she's raising some funds right now to assist Charlotte Dupre, who is at an institution being cared for some medical challenges that, many others are going through in the country. Molly Mall having her own experience in the past. Now, many of us don't know where she came from. But Molly Mall came from a very long way. She came from far. And she experienced some things that would cause many of you to cry. She saw something Charlotte was going through that she herself went through. And she, even though she pledged that she would not get involved in going and fundraising, do all those things again, she saw it in her own heart to say, no, I cannot hold back my support for this sister of the soil who is in need. And it's not that her families are not taking care of her and they don't love her and everything. I believe her family loves her. And based on the situation and the type of sickness that she's going through, you know, the temptation will be out there for people to judge things before it's time and, you know, label you as not loving Charlotte. I have no doubt in my mind that Charlotte's family loves her. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. What Molly Mall is doing, it is not for the family. She needs no permission from the family. Charlotte is an independent woman in the country who is going through a difficult time. She, Molly Mall, has lent her assistance. Charlotte is being taken care of in St. Lucia. And thank God for the many St. Lucians who are helping, whether it's a plate of food or water. Not that the families are not doing that, but the more, the better. And we got to find a heart, all of us, both SOP and UWP, when our families are going through hard times, people need to come together, band together. The more individuals come together, the lighter the burden is going to be. So I salute you, Molly Mall, and all those who have contributed to helping this woman. Your reward is not earthly. Your reward is heavenly. And don't be concerned about the noise makers, and they're not going to help. They're going to criticize. But you, Molly Mall, have done something that heaven will recognize, and your reward will be great. So, on that note, friends, I'm saying, this young man, and depression is not far from anybody, you know. Just a loss of a job, and you see your children there, and you can't send them to school. The guy can't send his kids to school up to this day. Can't get them to school because he do not have the support. And when I hear people say there are families who have not been able to send their kids to school up to this day, and people say, that's foolishness. It's real. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw it with my own eyes. Never get weary in well-doing. Don't get tired. Yes, many of you got burned in the past. You don't have to get burned again. Use that brain that God has given to you, friends. Exercise due diligence. And there's some of you who support this program. Thank you so much for your support. But never get weary in well-doing, friends. And what I'm going to do, if any one of you can reach out to me tonight, send me a text, a message, say you want to help. This man needs help, friends. We must help him. We must come together and give him the help that he needs. I pray God that you find it in your heart to assist him. I will talk to him again tomorrow to see if I can connect people to him. But please reach out to me in some way or the other. And when we talk about CIP money all over the place and the citizens are not benefiting, people get angry. Brethren, we can eradicate poverty in the country. We just got to do it right. We got to follow the regulations. We got to follow the protocols and the guidelines. We can eradicate poverty, and that's why I am still trying to build a soup kitchen in that country. I am still trying to build a soup kitchen in St. Lucia to cover the entire island. Brethren, pray for me. My faith is high. I'm going to build a soup kitchen in St. Lucia. And if it's the last thing I do on this earth, it will be accomplished. We got to find ways to eradicate poverty and hunger in our nation. No child should go to bed in that small country hungry. No family should have the uncertainty of their lunch, breakfast, and dinner in that country. None. Not with all this money, CIP money, where lawyers are getting rich and this one is getting gifts and government is saying nothing to us. No individual in the country, especially our children, should go to bed hungry at night. And no mother should be worrying where she's going to get bread or where she's going to get some cheese to give her children. None. None. And that's why I see the text coming in, folks are saying they want to assist. Thank you so much. None. And that's why I want you all, if all of us come together to build a soup kitchen, brethren, we'll have something, and I'll have to write a letter to MSR Media, Mr. Martinez, to ask him to see if he can rally, or he can, do some talking to some people to help us to build that soup kitchen. And yes, we're going to do the class action lawsuit that will bring in some money to help with the poverty situation in the country. And that's why we ask people to sign up. And by the way, on the whole, the class action lawsuit, after the program last night, folks, this morning, I got calls upon calls upon calls. People saying, look, my whole family signing up. My neighbor signing up. Everybody want to sign up. I told them, listen, I have already pledged that once the website is up, that I'm going to take 2 days. I'm going to dedicate 2 days to you folks, and I'm going to sign you up. You're going to call. I'm going to call me privately. I'm going to sign you up. I'm going to sit by that computer and sign you up as fast as we can. Brethren, we have over 300 to 400 individuals that are ready to sign on to this. That's what I know from my end. So I'm encouraging you to sign up too. Let's try to eradicate this type of food insecurity in the nation. When the guy called me, I'm saying, look at that. And because I can't expose it, I can't put him out there, because I got to protect him too. He has, the man is human. And, you can't expose him like that. He's at a vulnerable stage. And I was telling you folks that mental health is real. When you do not know where you're going to pay, how you're going to pay your bills, or you're going to get money to do this and feed your kids, that is enough to break you mentally. So when we speak on this platform and we shout at our politicians, you little hacks and supporters, you shouldn't get involved in giving us mapui and telling us about our mother and our this and our that nastiness. The struggle is real. It is real, and many of you know why I'm here, why I'm speaking. I'm speaking because I want a soup kitchen in the country, period, and I'm not going to rest until I get it. I happen to be a United Workers Party, brother. And if Philip J. give me the soup kitchen, I'm not going to say I'm going to vote for him and call him a nice guy. I will still say he have to go. Because we need a soup kitchen, friends. Family should be able to say, look, I'm going to come down to this soup kitchen tomorrow morning. I know I can get a meal there. They go to sleep knowing that they have a place down the road. They will say, Pastor Garfield, he has a place down there. I going down. I know I can get my food. I'll get my piece of fish or my piece of chicken. And I'll get my this and that. And I can go and cook a meal for my family. I know when hard times strike, I can go down to the soup kitchen and I can get a meal. So I'm going to write MSR Media and tell them, look, help us with the soup kitchen in the country. The people will love it. I'm going to ask people to help. Okay, so let's go on, friends. Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house.
In the public domain, we must be less selfish. We must be less self-centered. We must be less take my toys and go, and understand.
Okay, now I just want to tell you that this Prime Minister who is saying take my toys and go took his toys and go many times. I just wanted you to know that. I am here to call out the hypocrisy of politicians. You understand what I'm saying? You heard what he said, take my toys and go. He did. When Speaker Husband, what's her name, Mrs. Husband, the Speaker of the House, then when they walked out and the woman trying to bring calm to the house, and he took all his little toys, put it on his arm, and he and his folks walked out in protest. But here is he now trying to tell somebody that they're taking their toys and go.
Can impact negatively on the international situation. Because we are small countries, very small countries. We are mini states, Mr. Speaker. And these larger countries, these large institutions, they have almost a grip on us. And it's irresponsible.
Okay, hold. So he's saying that the bigger countries have a grip on them. Is it a grip on your administration? I just want to know. I'm asking again, is it a grip? And he's talking about those lending institutions out there. So, and again, it goes back to lazy politicians that have run out of ideas as to how to manage their own affairs. How to have enough food in their country that they do not have to import a lot of these poison foods that are out there. How to empower the farmers to produce more and a larger variety of crops that can help with food security in the country. Of course, the bigger countries will have you in a vice grip because you have nothing going in the land. All you have is passport and tourism. What else do you have? What else do you have as a nation? Yes, there's so much in the country that you can do in order to have a stronger voice out there. But a bunch of lazy politicians, of course, who imitate the same practices of previous governments and ideas, and they bring it back, 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 recycle. And the bigger countries tightening the grip. And you know what this Prime Minister admitted in the House? Many of you missed it. He said that, these institutions, they're the ones who are making us do all these laws and put these things in place so that we can get the money. You heard it? You heard it. Go back and listen. So all the pressure that you face, the increase, the 2.5% and all the percentage and the gas not moving from where it is because them fellas, them big boys with the money, they're saying to these governments when they come for the money, they say to them, go and squeeze your people and then we'll give you the money. And the governments are willing to squeeze you. And the sad thing about it is that what they do is that they lie to you when they're squeezing you. They are squeezing you and they're saying to you, we're not squeezing you. And you repeat what they just told you, that they're not squeezing you, and you start telling yourself, they're not squeezing me. And once the government can get you at that place, that's a good place to have the citizens, where you are squeezing them and they're saying they're not being squeezed. So these guys go look for monies, and these institutions tell them to go back and penalize your citizens. Put laws in place. And every time government put laws in place, friends, you got to look at those laws and ensure that your freedoms are not being messed with. And what I'm afraid of very soon is the idea of your government, because they want money, start pushing certain agendas that will not be in the benefit of the country, such as laws that will bring on religious hardship, religious persecution on the citizens of the country. To get money, governments are willing to do anything, and you got to watch your governments. I don't care which government it is. Always watch your government when it comes to pressure from the outside. Because very soon they will tell you can't worship on Saturday, you can't worship this day, you can't do this, you can't eat this, you can't go there, you got to do this, and you got to take this medication, and you don't have a choice, and all these kind of stories. Your freedom of conscience is taken away from you. Your freedom of expression, your freedom of worship, because somebody is tightening the grip on your lazy government that has run out of ideas. Be careful when government pass laws. Stop cussing each other off and pay attention to these laws. And don't think that them fellas are not eyeing the whole marriage thing and will try one day to make an attempt to change the whole idea of marriage. And I'm talking about biblical marriage. They're squeezing them. And these brothers, them fellas, have proven to us that when they get squeezed, they will act swiftly. They have already proven their weakness there for money. But let's listen to Mr. Frederick, folks. Mr. Pear.
That we know will hurt the country. We know very well these statements will hurt the country, but we make them because we believe that these statements will give us political gain, true or false. And Mr. Speaker, and you know, I know the business of opposition is not easy. I've been there. And when I was there, it wasn't easy at all. And it wasn't easy not because you were not in government, you know. It wasn't because of the way they treated you, Mr. Speaker. That's why it was, Mr. Speaker. I remember being said in this honorable house, I was sitting right there. Look at you. So long in politics, what you have to show. I remember that. And I carried that as a badge of honor. You understand, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, so I think that right now, where we are in this world, if we have good intentions for this country, we should understand that not all politics is local. Local politics has international repercussions, Mr. Speaker. But me becoming Prime Minister, this Prime Minister is legislation that shows that the government has the guts, the fortitude. Illness, not a secret, not a secret. Every passport, when the Commissioner of Police gave her review, the Assistant Commissioner sending passports to police in the country, she said clearly, the Commissioner of Police, and if you go back and play the tape, you'll hear what she said. But you will believe that there's some way they just give passports, 56,000 passports, and Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I sit down and I hear this thing. I heard and I
Okay, so now we can say to you that the Prime Minister is playing a very dangerous game with the country. He is speaking, and listen to me, Lucians. The Prime Minister is speaking about the opposition speaking about or questioning the whole idea of the sales of your passports. Why? Because there has been no reports, no accountability, no questions answered. They're not answering questions. The time that the Prime Minister of St. Lucia took to go into the house to spread all those seeds that he's spreading there and working himself up about the thing, like he said, he could have answered the questions that have been asked to Mr. Healy. How many passports? He's not answering it. But he will tell you that you believe that 50 passports, 50,000 passports, and the commissioner and this one, and you think that that's possible. But he's not telling you. He's not answering any questions. You understand what I'm saying, folks? He's not answering the questions, the pertinent questions. Ces questions, c'est juste ici qu'à mode. Pour moi, ministère, il pas répondre question, mais il a qu'à just parler about ça, opposition là, et c'est juste ici qu'à mode. Combien passeport ou havan? Combien passeport ou havan? The commissioner no, this one no. But he last said that I have to ask Galaxy if I can tell you, the citizens. Do you remember that? You know, one of my problems with you people is that, you St. Lucians, is that you don't pay attention and you kind of get lost quickly when it comes to your business. You get distracted and you prefer to talk about a woman's body parts and to argue and to cuss each other, but you do not spend time minding your own business. We'll be right back.
Today at 722-6. At Great Vision Designs, we value our customers and provide cutting-edge customer service. Great Vision Designs specializes in television broadcasting and live streaming of funerals, sports events, weddings, meetings, shows, and more. Call us today at 722-6542 or 726-9914. Or follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Great Vision Designs, coverage you can count on.
All right, folks, and we are back, Caribbean American News Media Platform. So when we, before we took that break, we were going through the Prime Minister's presentation. And I was saying to you that the Prime Minister is playing with the minds of the people, the citizens. Full stop. He's malmening your cervelle. Why am I saying that? All the Prime Minister has to do, you know, all this man has to do in order to, if he's so concerned about the image of St. Lucia and what is being said out there, all he has to do is to say to St. Lucians what the opposition and Mr. Martinez and the others are saying. Because, by the way, it's not only Martinez and the opposition United Workers' Party who are questioning. There are other agencies, there are other media houses overseas and in different territories that are watching, that are questioning, and a matter of fact, that are investigating as we speak. You understand what I'm saying, folks? So, all this man has to do in order to fix the image and to, you know, to put the facts out, to stop the opposition and the other people in their track, to stop them in their track. The only way you can stop them in their track is by putting out the truth. Now, you said it's not 50,000 passports. What, you're just selling applications and you're not giving passports? You're taking money. What are you selling, paper or passports? So, my question is, if you're not just selling application blank papers, if you are selling passports, the question is, and I'll pose it again, sir, how many passports have you sold to Galaxy? Have you given to Galaxy? Or how many passports have been issued to date? Simple answer, question. Simple answer, no back and forth. You don't have to say Chastney, MSR, they lie. No, don't say all that. Just tell us, Mr. Media Man, it is only 20 passports that we give, that we authorize Galaxy to sell. To date, they have sold only 19. Full stop. Story done. That's it, you know. But this man, he is the one prolonging the discussion. He is the one. Every time they open their mouths, there are fresh questions that pops up. Every time they gazette something, there are new questions. For instance, they gazetted an infrastructure agreement between Galaxy and also BMAX, I think it is. The BMAX, they would be responsible for the housing thing there in Castries, and Galaxy would be responsible for infrastructure. Now, those programs require the sales of your passport. Am I right or am I right? Come on, somebody. Am I right or am I right? They require the sales of passport. And I am sure that you, before you sign that agreement with them and gazette it retroactively, by the way, funny. Before you sign that agreement with these two companies, Galaxy and BMAX, I believe it is, the deal would have said that we're going to give you, let's say, 20,000 applications or files. You would sell them, but you will have to come up with 10% of whatever it is for the project. But we will give you authorized 20 or 20,000 files. You sell that and raise the money for the infrastructure program that we signed on with you. And Mr. BMX, you guys would get 15,000 and you will sell this amount of passport. Am I making sense or am I making sense? So when you sign deals and you say to us that you're not telling us, I think that there's a problem with transparency. Folks, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Mwe just hope zoka kopon. Mwe just hope zoka kopon. Se question mwe mem kamade. How many passports that you have given Galaxy and the other company to sell? They would have started the project, say on the gazetted document, it says that the project will commence on the 12th of January 2024. What is the deal? But no, you're in the House telling us what the opposition say, what this one say, but up to now you're not telling us what CIP say. Up to now. So in my humble estimate, I would think that you're trying to malmener the cerveau of the citizens of the country. That's not a wise thing to do, sir.
Mr. Speaker, and you know what I say? I pray for forgiveness for these people. I seriously. Because, I mean,
So hold a minute, Prime Minister become a priest, so he prays for the forgiveness of them people. Now, he didn't pray for forgiveness for Buddy, who told you that there were no approved drawings for the Talvan project on the Fresh Start. He is not praying for Buddy. No. No, man. They're not praying for whoever leased the port in Soufrière and Castries and give away Vieux Fort, basically, because you can't do nothing there. Nobody's praying for anybody. Nobody's praying now. Nobody's praying for the millions of dollars that have gone into waste at the St. Jude's Hospital. Nobody's praying for anybody. Nobody's praying for the poor families who can't get access to proper health care system. Prime Minister's not, he's a priest. Today he's a priest. Priest.
Mon passe après Magie Betisa. Mon passe après Magie Betisa.
So, our new Prime Minister priest is praying for them. But he's not praying for those fellas who are misleading the citizens of the country and are causing widespread speculations. They're the ones who are causing all the speculation with the CIP office and all what is happening. You know, them fellas, in the absence of information, the people will start making assumption. They will assume. They will start imagining things. In the absence of information, the people will start to think things. There is an absence of information with CIP. That's the problem, sir. Stop the praying. You don't have to pray, Mr. Priest. All you have to do is to do the right thing and submit the CIP reports, 1. 2, clarify what is happening at the CIP office. What's really going on there? Who is in charge? Who is not in charge? And 3, my question to you, Mr. Prime Minister, is Mr. Emmanuel a diplomat? Well, I don't know. Is he a diplomat? And what does that mean? Diplomatic immunity. What does it mean of diplomatic immunity? These are questions, sir, that maybe you would want to answer so that you can avoid all the things that give you sleepless nights. And by the way, they're not climate change, sir. What is giving you sleepless nights is CIP. Because you guys are not coming straight. You are not speaking to the citizens of the country. You guys are not acting straight, period. You are not acting straight. When we ask questions, we get lectured, we get cursed off, we get prayed for. That's the new one, prayed for. I don't know pray to who. I don't know. If it's to Buddy or Buddy cousin or whoever it is, I don't know who you pray to. But in leadership, you would believe that you guys would understand what communicating with the people is. You would understand why a free press is embedded in the constitutions of many nations, you would understand what an independent media system and why an independent media system is needed in the country, and why there's separation of the judicial system from you, sir, and your brothers and sisters. Do you understand why? That there's the printed press in most countries, and those media houses have been protected by laws in the country? Do you know why that in the United States that you got to approach the press, that there must be a press, there must be press conferences and updates given? And do you not look at the United States daily? There's a press briefing where the media is given access, because in a case like that, the media represents the people. The people. So you will not have Kamala Harris looking at the media and picking out all the aggressive journalists and bring them into your cabinet. That is a threat to the democracy of a nation, a threat to free press. Yes, a threat to free press. And now there is free nothing, because we can't ask questions. One, we are insulted on the GIS. You go there and you are blocked, you are cursed off, you are embarrassed. You can't even watch the sitting in decency with, you can't even put your child to sit next to you because they insult you in front of your child. But Mr. Prime Minister, you're praying. Maybe you need to talk to your favorite priest, and maybe they can advise you. But let's go over. Go ahead, sir.
Give immigration department every passport. They haven't got no quota of passports. That is, look, you give this. Every passport. There is, and before passport is issued, you get a citizenship certificate. And then you're going to get your NIC money, your NIC number. That's the process. So the NIC, so if there were 56,000 passports, how many NIC numbers they would have? 56,000 passports. So it's supposed to have 56,000 NIC numbers. Every boy NIC, you don't know how you get an NIC number? A clerk give it to you. A clerk. You bring your certificate, and you fill a form, and a clerk give you an NIC number. Like a card, a clerk give it to you. So you mean tell me all these clerks inside there would not know that there were 56,000 passports given? And you repeat that, and people believe that, and slander people in that? 56,000 passports? And you multiply it by...
Okay, St. Lucians, here's what I'm going to do. Here is what I am going to do on this CIP thing. I think it's time for me to give Mr. Martinez a call, honestly, to clarify something here. Because I'm not getting information from the government. We are not getting the information. I'm going to, folks, I'm going to get Martinez online. I'm going to try my best to get him, because I need to get some information here. And that he's the only one I can call right now, tonight, right now as I speak. There are others, but I'm going to call him to explain certain things to me, because I'm not in this back and forth, hide and seek story. I'm getting older. I'm losing brain cells, and I have zero tolerance for wasting my time and wasting the citizens' time. With all the drama, just tell us the truth. Embarrass us with the truth. Just beating around the bush. Beating around the bush. You know what? Let's deal with this. Let's deal. Let's deal with this thing. I'm going to, folks, bear with me. I am going to try to get Mr. Martinez on the line here. Just bear with me, folks. All right? We're going to take a commercial break, and I'm going to get Mr. Martinez. I don't care what time is it. I'm going to find him. I'm going to make an attempt, because honestly, this is ridiculous. It's out of control, and I'm not having it tonight. Caribbean American News Media will be right back.
At Palette Pleasure, located Ogier Vieux 4, we take pride in our ability to cater to a wide range of events and occasions, whether it's a joyous celebration like a birthday, anniversary, wedding, or graduation, or a more somber gathering such as a funeral or first communion. We are dedicated to providing exquisite culinary offerings to suit each unique event. Our diverse menu includes offerings such as funeral treat boxes and treat boxes for all other occasions, ensuring that we can provide comfort and support during difficult times, as well as enhance the festivities during happier moments. In addition, we offer prepackaged meals designed for all occasions, ensuring that the food at your event is not only delicious but also convenient. Call us today at 758-733-3365 for your finger-licking and palatable foods.
And folks, we are right back, and so I am in the process of trying to see, my folks are trying to see if we can get connected here. Just bear with me. It is only going to take a few. Just bear with me, folks. Bear with me 1 minute. I hope you appreciate. Yes. Thank you so much. Bear with me. Bear with me. Again, you're viewing us through the GVD TV. That's channel 115 Flow. We thank you so much for being here with us. Those of you who are viewing through the WhatsApp and the Facebook platform, we want to just thank you for being a part of the Caribbean American News experience here. All right, just bear with me. Let me take off the AC. And so we are going to get down to business at this time. Okay, good. So we're going to be doing this right now. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me 1 minute. All right. Good night, Mr. Martinez. Oliver here from Caribbean American News. I have you live on the air.
How are you, Pastor Garfield?
Not bad at all. Long time we have not spoken, and I know there might have been a lot happening at the same time, but we have an issue here that we need some clarification on. The Prime Minister is saying that it's impossible to issue 50,000 passports in St. Lucia.
Well, listen, you have to go back. Can people hear me well?
Yes, very clear.
Okay. You have to go back to what I said for the past 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I said a few things. One, that they have given Galaxy 6,000 passports for the real estate option, mm-hmm. and 7,000, I'm sorry, not passport, 6,000 file, mm-hmm. which is about, you multiply that by 4 or 5, depending on how many people are in the family. So that could be 24,000 to 30,000 passports. Mm-hmm. And then they've given to Galaxy for the infrastructure project 7,000 files, which could be anywhere from 28 to 35,000 passports. Mm-hmm. So it's called an allocation of citizenship per project. Mm-hmm. That's the term, right? So that's what I said, mm-hmm. right? The second thing that I said mm-hmm. is that the passports are not sold at the legal price. In average, they are sold at half the legal price, okay? Mm-hmm. And the third point that I said all the time is that I cut them in the middle of the heist. right? So, if you hear what the PM said in Parliament today, right? He's not lying. 56,000 passports have not yet been issued, but they've been sold already. And Mr. Chastenay, when he came to Washington, he looked at the evidence, and we started to provide Mr. Chastenay the evidence, and he's going to use them in a legal matter, not to show them in front of the press, because that's irrelevant. He's going to use them. So today there was a very important evidence that came on social media, right?
Talk to me.
Someone in St. Lucia issued on social media the report of Polaris, which is a processing agent company run by 3 lawyers, Jeffrey Dubole, Brenda Flesac, and Diana Thomas, right? On that document, it says black on white the number of file that has been already sent to the CIP. And the number is 11,372. It's right there on the first page, which means that 11,372 files out of the 13,000 files that I've always accused them of giving to Galaxy have already been sent to the CIP. That means, Pastor Garfield, that those passports are sold already. That means that Galaxy has the money already. What the PM does, it plays on the fact that the passports have not been issued yet.
Oh my God. So sorry about that, Mr. Martinez. I just want to take this slowly. So you're saying based on that leak or whatever it is in St. Lucia, because you and I were not there, based on what those documents are saying to us, is that 11,372 files have already been sent to the CIP office.
When you send a file to the CIP, they automatically give you a number, right? And it goes from 1. And if you look at the document, which is a key piece of evidence that someone in St. Lucia has released, it says 11,372 files has been. All you have to do is to look at the document, right?
Yes, I will do so.
That means, what does it mean? It means that 11,372 files have been sold already by Galaxy, and the applications have been already sent to the CIP. The Prime Minister knows that. Mr. Hilaire knows that. Mr. MacLeod knows that. It's black on white, okay? Now, it takes 3 to 5 months to issue the passport. So it is just playing on the technicality, the fact that the passport have not been delivered yet, because that's what I said from the beginning. I cut them on the middle of the heist. And the reason why they don't respond, and they will not respond, because if they respond and they say something different than what I say, well, then they're going to be lying on the record, right? So they're playing with words. They're playing with the mind of the people by saying, we have not issued a passport yet. But it doesn't matter. The passports are already sold, and Galaxy has already the money. And now that Galaxy is involved in the RICO case, now that Galaxy knows that we have all the information, they are going to be very cautious to send any money. And they're going to keep that money in Asia. Now, everything that's being done right now, and I've said it in one of my interview with Lisa Joseph, is to cover the tracks, right? These people have been selling the passport of the infrastructure before it was voted. That's why they're going retrospective on their gazette, right? So I don't think that you can or should ask any more questions to the government. They know what they've done. They're not going to give any response. They can't give any response, right? The RICO case, for them, they are annoyed by the RICO case, obviously, but they expect that it's going to take years, right? So they're going to say things like, "Oh, we wait for the outcome." But Pastor Garfield, I've always said that this thing will be over before the end of the year.
But how is it going so far?
It's going very well. You said rightfully that a lot of people are investigating right now, and not just MSR. The Europeans are looking at this very closely. The Americans are looking at this very closely. The governor of the ECC Central Bank did an interview where he said things that are not accurate, and we sent him a legal notice, and we informed him of the various action that we've taken with various foreign agency. So it's going very well. And we are drafting and preparing the class action lawsuit for the people. Because if the government is not going to give the answer in St. Lucia or in St. Kitts, in St. Kitts, Pastor Garfield, we filed in the court the bank transaction of Bank of America in the defamation lawsuit.
Right.
It shows that the head of the program, Les Kahn, who is now the CEO of Galaxy, has received $13.5 million. Some of that money, US.
Yeah.
Some of that money was paid by the government. Some of that money was paid by Galaxy, and some of that money was paid by the fake due diligence company that they're using. Now, I've been having discussion with the Prime Minister of St. Kitts, and I said, you have the bank transaction. Bank transaction do not lie. What are you waiting for to open an investigation? And he doesn't respond.
Wow.
So that's why, at the end of the day, these passports are sold already, Pastor Garfield. The fact that some of them, because some of them issued already, the fact that some of them have not been issued is what the Prime Minister is playing on by choosing carefully. Do not underestimate him. When he said those words in Parliament today, is because he said that he's saying something that is correct. They are 56,000 passports have not been issued. What he's not saying is that they've been sold.
Wow, this is deception.
And that Galaxy has the money.
And if this is the truth, brother, this is deception to the highest degree.
All you have to do is to look at the piece of evidence that a gentleman in St. Lucia has put online today. And it's right there. You can look, there is a reference number for each applicant, right? And you can see that company, Polaris, has filed nearly 500 applications in the past 2 months. At $3,000 per application, that's a lot of money. So not only they're not going to tell you the truth, But on top of that, they are speeding the process of the application right now. Full speed.
Wow.
So that's what it's important for you to understand. And for the underselling, Mr. Chastenay has the contract, the invoice, and he will use them as he please when he wants. And we are working on the class action lawsuit, which is the only way people will get a benefit of the money that was due to them in the first place. And that's it. That's all I got to say.
Wow. So nothing yet on the other individuals who should have been added to the suit. Are they still being added?
Of course. They're actually going to receive a legal notification tomorrow.
Okay. So and then how would we as a nation know who they are? Would we have to go to the website of the court in Florida?
No, because, well, first of all, once they receive their legal notification, they have a delay to respond. And then Galaxy and McLeod have pushed their response to us to October 11. It was supposed to be yesterday, and they pushed their legal response to October 11. All of them, all the RICO, Galaxy and McLeod, the diplomat, have pushed their response to October 11. So we will then file our response and with the amendment of the lawsuit shortly after that. So the reason we have delayed the announcement is simply because they keep pushing for their legal response.
Right.
It was supposed to be August 16, then they pushed it to September 16, and now they pushed it to October 11.
Wow,
the good news is that they play well because in the meantime they're processing the application. You understand?
Yes.
So that's what it is. But it's okay because we have all the evidence. Mr. Chastenay saw the evidence. He has some of them. He told me that he was planning to take a legal action as well on top of the class action lawsuit.
Right.
So everything is going well. But I'm sorry to tell you, stop asking them questions that they will not give you the response. They can't give you the response. All they can do is to have social media attack and deny and stuff like that. But they know the response. That's why they didn't come to Washington. And by the way, when Mr. McLeod came to Washington, he spilled the beans on everybody. He told us everything,
Well, he's saying something else in St. Lucia, ain't it?
Well, apparently he's a diplomat. He became a diplomat.
You're funny, yes. Wow.
McLeod the diplomat.
McLeod the diplomat. Wow. This world is going... I don't know.
God help us all with
all
diplomats
of us
like that.
Well,
anyway,
we don't know who else will be diplomats, so let's watch the space. Yeah.
But listen, all this is a problem that will have serious implications.
Very sad.
On an international level.
Yeah.
But the good news for the people that will want to be a plaintiff in the class action lawsuit is that we believe that we are preparing right now a very strong class action lawsuit against the bank that have failed to protect the people. Because you see, Pastor, when a bank in Asia or in the Middle East receive the money for the passport, they should have checked that the legal price was paid.
Yeah.
But they close their eyes.
No due diligence. Yeah.
And because the money came through, thank God, God bless America. Thank God that the money went through the U.S. banking system, that we were able to track that money.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to be able to attack them.
I think you're the greatest nightmare right now to the government and those in the CIP office, because if it wasn't for you, I mean, we would still be here thinking everything is okay, all is well. And I mean, I'm telling you, we owe you a debt of gratitude, to tell you the least.
Listen, this is something that has been going on for decades, right? St. Lucia, in that scheme, the Galaxy scheme, it's only in the past couple of years, right? But I must tell you that in St. Kitts, the various government gave Galaxy 8,000 files over a period of 5-6 years. In St. Lucia, they gave them 13,000 files over a period of a year and a half.
Yeah. Wow, man. Whoa.
Anyway, if you know where Lescan is, let us know, because we still don't know where he is.
Okay, we'll find him for you. We'll send over our team.
yeah. Tell him to pay the electricity bill at the canal.
That's funny. Okay, I saw the electricity bill.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's watch this space.
Let's see.
But thank you for taking my call, though.
You're welcome. Good night, Pastor.
Thank you, sir. Yes, and that was Mr. Martinez on the line there, folks. I mean, we go to the source now in order to get the information. And like Mr. Martinez said, look, don't even bother to ask these fellas any question. You know, they will continue with those rants, as what we're seeing. But the whole news here is that the files of the passports have already been sold, but have not been issued as yet. So the fellas have the money, it's already sold, but the Prime Minister is saying to us, if we should believe what Mr. Martinez and the other documents are saying, Prime Minister is saying to us that 50,000, they're saying 50,000 and no 50,000 yet and stuff. And I told you earlier that they're playing with the minds of the citizens in this country, and this is wrong. It is downright wrong. It cannot be right. I prefer you not to say nothing than for you to be playing with the minds of the people. That is not good. But let's go over to a report and then we'll move on.
Installed Chief Executive Officer of the CIU up in St. Kitts Nevis.
On a sustainable model that will ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis continues to be the envy of the international community by injecting high levels of integrity and administrative improvements. The program has also been structured to allow for greater transparency and accountability.
So I don't know about going back. I think where there's evidence of any wrongdoing or underselling, law enforcement needs to deal with that. I don't think that should be on the regulator, in all fairness. This situation. They all have cooperation that goes beyond the border. They can speak to US, UK, Canada, anywhere in the world. They have a network to address these things. The regulator is focused on standards, compliance, and engagement with international partners.
Of correspondent banking.
What situation? What situation? What
the
loss?
Loss of correspondent banking in Dominica.
What loss of what correspondent bank?
Well, the Prime Minister of Dominica has acknowledged that there was some issues with the correspondent banking. We're getting reports that there is a loss with the UK, European banks, Bank of America. I'm not certain if there is a loss of correspondent banking there as well. But within the CIP, It's very difficult to have any sort of money transfers happen pertaining to the CIP. The ECCB is not aware?
So I'm not aware of a Bank of America loss. I mean, we are in touch with the correspondent banks on an ongoing basis. We did lose correspondent banks several years ago. We had to fight very hard as a region to preserve our correspondent bank relations, and for the most part, those things, the relations have stabilized. We have had one or two, I think in the last year in the UK, there's one institution I'm aware of that did withdraw services from a couple of our countries, not just Dominica, if I recall, maybe 2 or 3 of the countries. And we have had conversations with that particular correspondent bank. The reality is that we need correspondent banks to be able to do business with the rest of the world. So as a central bank, we are in constant dialogue with correspondent banks to understand if there are any concerns and to see what if preserve those relations.
Expected, along with the banking syndicates Nevis, to be named in the MSR lawsuit for money laundering. What are those consequences for us, and especially with the bank's stability, the ECCB's stability, as well as the relationship with the U.S. Treasury?
So, you suggesting developments of which I'm unaware. So I have to start with that. I don't know that any of these additional banks are going to be losing any correspondence. I have no knowledge of that. I have not seen neither from the banks themselves nor from the correspondent bank that is going to happen.
But even to have a bank identified.
I want to be careful that we're not taking speculation as fact, right?
No.
As a central bank, we have to focus on the factual matrix and work with that. Now, to your question about implication, we are concerned about the preservation of these relations. It is vital for financial stability. You cannot run a bank effectively in this day and age without a correspondent bank. That is direct engagement with
it's available online.
To the Caribbean. Obviously, I pay attention, so I keep an eye on those things.
So there you have it. The government is saying that there is no problem. The government of the governor of the ECCB is saying that there is no problem with banking, basically correspondent banking in Dominica. But we heard the Prime Minister of Dominica, and we'll find that clip on another show. Prime Minister of Dominica saying something a little slightly different from what the governor is saying here. So, folks, I don't know what to say, but let's go to another clip that we have here from James Stanislas.
A shameful act of political retribution by James Stanislas. The St. Lucia Labour Party government's egregious neglect of the people of Swazelle Saltibus has reached new heights, as the newly constructed community centres in Roblo and Pi remain shuttered, a stark reminder of this government's vindictive and petty politics. The contracts for these vital community facilities were signed on June 26, 2021, 1 month before the last elections. And it is crystal clear that the SLP government's refusal to open these community centres is a deliberate and calculated act of retribution against the communities that had the audacity to reject their candidates in the last 2 elections. The SLP government's initial attempt to recall the project, citing a need to review all contracts, was the thinly veiled attempt to sabotage the project and punish the people of Swazelle Saltibus for their political choice. The World Bank's warning of penalty costs in favor of the contractor was a mere speed bump in the government's quest for political revenge. The 9-month delay in commencing the project was a deliberate and cruel tactic designed to inflict maximum suffering on the people of Swazelle Saltibus. The government's excuses for not opening the facilities are an insult to the intelligence of the people. Claims that insurance has not yet been paid are a laughable attempt to justify the delay and the fact that the period for rectifying faults by the contractor has expired is a damning indictment of the government's incompetence and negligence. The absence of security and maintenance measures in place is a clear indication that this government is more interested in punishing the people of Swazel Saltibus than in serving their needs. Community centers are the lifeblood of small rural communities like Roblo and Pi, providing a vital space for social gatherings, community events, and essential services. By denying the people of Swazel Saltibus access to those facilities, the SLP government is effectively strangling the very fabric of community life. This is not just a case of government neglect. It is a deliberate and malicious act of political retribution designed to punish the people of Swazel Saltibus for their political choice. To the SLP government, we say, your attempts to punish the people of Swazel Saltibus will not yield the desired result. Making the people suffer because they did not elect your candidate in the last two elections will not redound to the benefit of your candidate in the upcoming general elections. The people of Swazel Saltibus will not be swayed by your petty politics, and we will re-elect Honorable Bradley Felix of the United Workers' Party, who has represented the people of the constituency with distinction and dedication. The people of Swazel Saltibus will not be intimidated or coerced into voting for your candidate. They will not be swayed by your empty promises and hollow rhetoric. They will remember the suffering you have inflicted upon them, and they will hold you accountable at the polls. The SLP government's shameful neglect of the people of Swazel Saltibus will be a major factor in their downfall, and the people will ensure that they are held accountable for their actions. In conclusion, the closure of the community centers in Roblo and Ply is a damning indictment of this SLP's government's petty politics and vindictive nature. The people of Swazel Saltibus deserve better, and they will not be silenced or intimidated by the government's attempts to punish them. The community centers must be opened, and the government must take concrete steps to ensure that the maintenance and security is in place. Anything less is a betrayal of the trust placed in them by the people, and we, the people of Swazel, will not forget. Thank you for listening. May God bless you. May God bless the people of Swazel Saltibus, and may God bless our fair Helen.
Right, so that was the situation there in Swazel that I had to expose. And our final clip, we'll take one call later on before we go. We just give us at least 5 more minutes, folks. Let's go back to CIP, and James Stanislas again is going to go through something very important with us concerning some information that came to light on this CIP program. Just bear with us, folks. 5 more minutes.
St. Lucia's CIP is a mess. In recent months, St. Lucia's CIP program has come under increasing scrutiny, raising serious questions about transparency, accountability, and the management of public resources. As concerns mount regarding the partnership between the government and the Chinese company Caribbean Galaxy, citizens are left wondering about the implications for their nation, their finances, and their future. It's been a whole 2 months since a television reporter asked the minister responsible for the CIP a rather straightforward question. How many passports did his government allocate to Caribbean Galaxy under the real estate program and under the infrastructure program? And yet, the minister's response has been a masterclass in evasion, citing the need for permission from the company and commercial confidentiality. One can't help but wonder what's taking so long to provide a simple answer. Is the minister having trouble getting the company to return his calls or emails? Or is it that there is something more intriguing at play? Meanwhile, a document circulating social media from a law firm named Polaris, an approved agent for processing CIP passport applications, has conveniently revealed a code in the reference number that, as per an undisclosed source, that code corresponds to the sequential number of passports sold. Aha! And if the documents from Polaris are to be believed, as of September the 2nd, 2024, a whopping 11,372 passports had been sold under the infrastructure program. So, Mr. Minister, forget about trying to get permission from the Chinese. It's time to just refute or confirm this estimate, because that's clearly the most pressing matter on your agenda. After all, the public has a right to know. The issue intensifies with the virtual standstill of the Honeymoon Beach Hotel development at Canals in Vieux-Fort, a project financed by our CIP, with the CEO of Caribbean Galaxy, Les Can, reportedly absent, alongside Ying Jin, the former CEO. Speculation abounds about the status of both the investment and the broader vision for the CIP in St. Lucia. Have the Chinese abandoned ship? Where are the funds? The $740 million from the 1,367 sold and approved files for the Honeymoon Beach project that the minister disclosed during his address to the nation in June of this year. Where are the funds they collected from the sale of thousands of passports that have been sold under the infrastructure program? The CIP's passport sales have reportedly surged, with Polaris law firm processing nearly 500 applications between July and August alone, earning Polaris approximately $4 million in fees for only 2 months of work. Multiple law firms in St. Lucia are participating in the processing of CIP passport applications, with fees of between $8,000 and $13,500 per application. Some law firms in St. Lucia are making a killing from the sale of our passports. And we, the citizens, are understandably alarmed. What is in it for the people of St. Lucia? At the heart of this discontent lies a critical question. Why does the money from passport sales, which fundamentally represents a public asset, belong to a private developer and a foreign company at that? Why did the government of St. Lucia agree to such a lopsided agreement? According to the minister, Caribbean Galaxy had agreed to upfront payment of $100 million to fund specified infrastructure projects. Yet questions loom. Has this payment been made? If not, when will it be dispersed? The public deserves clarity on these financial transactions that fundamentally affect national development. Moreover, concerns arise over the process by which foreign sales agents were able to sell passports when the related projects lacked approval. It begs the question, did these agents possess privileged information that the citizens of St. Lucia were not privy to? This government promised to put the people of St. Lucia first, but agreements like this prove that, on the contrary, this government places a select few friends, family members, and foreign companies of dubious repute first, while the rest of the people are left without hope to confront life in St. Lucia that is getting steadily worse. Compounding this dire situation is the recent gazetting of the projects under the infrastructure program, retroactively dated to January 2024. Why the need for backdating the approved projects and related investments? This raises ethical questions about the integrity of the process. The simple truth is, St. Lucia, that the CIP in St. Lucia is an absolute mess. While certain CIP projects seem to be overfunded based on the number of passports sold, reports of stalwarts at the project in Canals paints a grim picture of mismanagement and misallocation of resources, particularly in a climate where the average citizen of St. Lucia is facing financial strain. Further complicating matters, the CEO of the CIP is now implicated as a defendant in a federal RICO case in the United States, with the anticipation of additional St. Lucians being added to the case. What the hell is going on? This could have far-reaching implications on the reputation and operational integrity of the CIP. In conclusion, the current state of St. Lucia's CIP program reflects a pressing need for transparency, accountability, and stakeholder engagement. We need help. It is a mess. The government must address these myriad of concerns to restore trust among the populace. Sticking their heads in the sand and hoping that it will go away doesn't work. The Prime Minister hedging that this case will take 10 years before it's over, and therefore he would not speak to us because the matter is in court, is just a joke. Mr. Prime Minister, we deserve better. Lucians deserve detailed answers, Mr. Prime Minister, regarding the sale of our passports. We need detailed answers regarding the partnership with Caribbean Galaxy. We need detailed answers about the proceeds from those sales and how they will be utilized and how St. Lucians are going to benefit. The urgency for clarity cannot be overstated, as the future of the CIP and the welfare of the people of St. Lucia hangs in the balance.
Thank you so much, James Stanislas. Beautiful piece there. And so, folks, I don't know what to say to you, but let's just watch the space. There's more developments that will be popping up. And we have one final call, and then we will call it a night. So let's take this call. Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Good evening, Pastor Gaffney.
How are you, my friend? Good, not bad at all. Thank you. Yes, I saw your calls earlier, but go ahead.
No, I called you at the wrong time and realized that after when I started watching the
Yeah, that's okay.
let me tell you, I'm not gonna be wrong.
No, that's okay.
But there is a clip out there, and maybe you played it before, where I think Pinocchio was being asked a question about why is it they're not signing, I think it was a memorandum of understanding that they had to sign among the region.
Yeah.
What was, they had something to say. And then he said, and I'm paraphrasing it, he said something to the tune of, it's like the other countries make their money already, so it's better to make their money. So they're not signing that agreement yet until they themselves cash in. It's something to that effect, right?
Yes.
Now, my brother, I need you to find that clip, and let me tell you why.
Talk to me.
These guys cannot run away from what is happening there with FBI. Honestly, with that statement made on TV, already tell you he is deeply rooted in that corruption that is going on there. Deeply rooted. Because I
I sat down there, and while Martinez was talking, and he was talking about all the questions we were asking him, and then he mentioned something about what's his name, like, if you can find him, I think if you can find him, like basically direct them to him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where is Nessie?
I think he might be out of state. I am not sure.
But that's the second time that Nessie has left the country for so long. And when he returns, nobody knows what he went to do and why basically don't report to the nation. When that thing came out, Martinez went on that first interview with Lisa Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
He went out of country for a while, about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Brother, if we just follow those crumbs, we will find exactly where these monies are and who's holding this money. And I'm telling you, some of these monies are in St. Lucia and in the banks as well, in St. Lucia. Believe it or not. Because we have institutions that are just as bad as the government that tend to serve us. You will never get to find out the truth until those banks are serving it. I'm telling you. Some of these monies, brother, are right here in St. Lucia. Believe it or not. You will hear later, you will hear sooner or later. You know, one thing came to mind, and the reason why I'm telling you that money is right there in St. Lucia. Something came to mind with everybody remember that name because it was a household name in St. Lucia at that time. Alan Stanford. He started that 2020 cricket that we all are enjoying today. It was started with what? Fraudulent funds. He's sitting in prison as of today.
Wow.
Right? He had opened a bank somewhere in the Caribbean. I can't remember exactly which country, but I watched the entire documentary on it. And some of his money, you know which banks were actually funneling those monies? Right here in Canada. TD Bank, Scotia Bank, CIBC Bank. These money will be funneled from those banks. Today, I don't know if you've heard, you probably heard, TD is actually liable to pay almost $1 billion.
Yeah.
Because again, the same money laundering that is happening. But I'm telling you today, and I'm telling St. Lucians that all those who are listening, most of the money that we are looking for, it's in St. Lucia. Have a good night, brother.
Thank you so much for that call. That was our last call, folks. Have a beautiful night. Let me tell you something before we go. There is the Calypsonians who are not being paid after Carnival, creative arts industry. People are angry. People are trying to get their monies. And, people sing when things really affect them. And so let's listen to this, our closing.
I can't believe Carnival done. La Rose come and gone. We're now in the month of September. And not one word for less $1. Is that the way to treat the culture? Or is it cause we ain't together? Me partner Blaze follow please. Calypsonians, they care about their own business. Wow. Zoom zizai. Look the second verse. Big prize giving ceremony. All I received was a trophy. But boy, catering is plenty food and most drinking. Cause CPMC no response. Even tell me have little patience. Isam no atoaka, artiste baka jamais ni l'argent.
Calypsonians sing only, it seems, when it affects them. Nobody sings for healthcare. But let's take this call quickly. Caller, you on the air. You're our last call. We're getting ready to shut down the system.
I just wanted to elaborate on something very quick.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, my brother. How much money do you think St. Lucia is spending on tourism and marketing St. Lucia? Just a brief question.
Mm-hmm.
A couple millions, couple billions, maybe a couple millions, maybe about 20 million?
A few millions.
Okay, but in that single time Julian Alfred came about, don't you feel during the Olympics and still to this day, Julian Alfred has put St. Lucia on the map more than any tourism marketing or anything like that?
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
So I see the Prime Minister and the SLP people are trying to say that what the Prime Minister did give her I don't know if they did that, but for me personally, I believe Julian Alfred deserves a couple millions of dollars, maybe house and land.
Yeah, I think they said that the Prime Minister did give her some lands the first time.
Well, she deserves more than that, my brother.
She deserves a lot. She deserves.
She deserves for her family and herself to be well off.
Yeah.
Because what she has done for St. Lucia is not just put her on the map on just give her a day, but actually take some CIP money and give Joanne Alfred a couple millions of dollars and give her a nice big house for her to settle down somewhere by the beach.
Yeah.
And just let her live her life lavish.
Yeah, let her big up herself. But let me, before you go, I think the holiday, the Julian's Alfred Day, it is only for this year.
Well, you see, this government is just a sham, my brother. I thought it was a holiday every year, my brother.
No, I believe
this
it's just, we can get clarification, but I believe based on what I'm hearing, it's only for this year.
And that's just to show you, Brother Garfield, anything the Labour Party put their hands on, they're destroying it. I just do not want them to put their hands on Julian Alfred. Just give the girl some millions. Give her a nice big home by the beach, wherever she chooses, whether it's in Barbados, Grosley, wherever she chooses, or to just live comfortably.
Yeah.
Because Usain Bolt, all those guys, even, what's his name, Darren Sammy?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the government that gave Darren Sammy the millions, but those people, we have to put those people.
True. We got to pick up our own people, man. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, brother. And the call is right. You know, she deserves everything. She deserves everything that she's getting, and I'm sure the officials will do their best to ensure that she's comfortable. All right, folks, have a beautiful night. And to all of our viewers, we thank you so much. We stayed a little longer than usual. Blessings to you, and remember that we will have no more Monday programs. A new program will be starting by the United Workers' Party, Mr. Spider Bantut, on the next Monday, and so we are no longer having a Monday show. I do apologize, and we look forward to keeping the Tuesday show going, and we will look for any other available day to give you a second show. I promise you. Continue to give us the support and the love, but we look forward to continuing this program, Caribbean American News Media Platform. Folks, have a beautiful rest of your night.